we back, man. Thinking Minds podcast. Another episode, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, all that type of stuff, man. But enough of that, man. Mark, go on, jump it off, man.
So I got VADEN with us today. He works for the University of Kentucky's programs specialist designer. What is your job title?
Systems programmer.
Systems
It doesn't really mean anything. I just code.
Okay, so you code. So what is coding?
Ooh, okay. Coding, I guess, is writing computer programs that can do any number of things.
Hold on. Do you think so? Coding is pretty much a bunch of numbers and letters and lines it up, and it becomes whatever, a program and stuff like that. Do you think like the world is ran off codes like the Matrix type shit too?
Like, do I believe in simulation theory?
Yeah.
So there is a theory about it already, huh?
Oh yeah, like the universe is a hologram or a simulation. I don't think so, but that's a theory.
What? Why do people think that?
I
They got to have some kind of reason to think that. They have to have an argument, right?
Yeah, I think the popular argument right now is that computer simulations are getting better and better and better.
Mhm.
And pretty soon, apparently, they'll be good enough to simulate a universe. So they're simulating a universe. That universe progresses eventually, and they develop computer technology which gets good enough to simulate a universe. So eventually you get a universe inside of a universe.
So it's
inside
like
of a
taking
universe.
a mirror and standing in front of another mirror, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then the
reflection of
reflection.
the
Have you ever done that? And it
Yeah.
keeps going and going and going and going infinitely.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so basically the odds of being in a non-simulated universe are really, really, really low because there's just so many simulated universes. The odds of being in like the true universe are kind of nothing.
Let me ask you this: how, whenever you are finding numbers to write codes, right? How do you go about like getting those numbers? Or does like specific number like like the diameter from the top of the pyramid to the sun? Can that write a code? Is that like how do you go about? Is it like random numbers, or is it like
Before you do that, I think you need to explain the binary system and what that is,
Okay,
what the
okay.
binary codes are to begin with.
So typically when we're counting, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it starts over at 1, 0, and then goes up to 100, and then starts over at 1, 0, 0. So we have 9 digits, right? 0 to 9.
okay?
Binary just means that there are 2, so 0 and 1. So it goes 0, 1, and then it starts over at 1, 0, and then 1, 1, or
Yeah.
So there's just 2 numbers. In computers, this is helpful because a circuit can either be turned on or turned off. So off for 0, on for 1. And you can represent any decimal number as a binary number, and because computers can either be on or off, it's just, the best way to do it, I guess.
All right. So now explain, how do you get those number info coding? How do you determine like how do you code a self-driving car? How do you code, like what are you writing in it to tell the car what to do versus a drone and a drop a bomb? What's the different code?
Get these questions wrong. Hold on,
Oh, come
bro.
on. No.
That's a good question right there.
How do you drop a bomb? So for self-driving cars, they have a bunch of cameras all over them, and there's this like image segmentation machine learning, and what it does is it can take an image and pick out the individual things in it. Like they could look at that picture right there and be like, oh, this is a lamp, that's a plant, these are microphones. And it does the same thing with stop signs and people. And so if the car is driving along and it sees a stop sign, it stops. If it sees a pedestrian, it stops.
The rental I'm in does that. Like I can see it, and it does the auto flashers and all that. Like if a car's approaching.
But we are the one that writes all those codes that's a lamp, that's a stop sign, that's a street, that's a crossway, that's a person. Are we the one writing the code for those computer in the know, or do these computer like wake up already knowing?
It's got to be trained. You got to give it an image of a stop sign and say,
Yeah,
"Hey, this
and
is a
tell
stop
it.
sign."
Yeah.
But the more it drives, the more it learns itself.
Yeah, when you're driving a Tesla, it's constantly sending data back to like the Tesla headquarters, whatever, for like more training, so that it gets better over time.
What if the stop sign is like painted like orange instead of red, and it says stop on it?
Well,
In
hopefully,
the position of a stop sign, does the car still register? Does it know like that's a orange stop sign? It's not red. It's not normal. Like what is
yeah.
going on here? Does it determine?
So in like the first version of self-driving cars, it may not have known. And then it may have run through that calls to rack, and the programmers were like, "Oh, I guess we got to fix that." Like in the next version of this, we obviously can't allow that to happen. So they put in some training data for orange stop signs and fixed it basically.
Ready? All right. Sorry, I got. I'm sorry. I'm into this. Big
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right. What about like if I went out and I put in a roadblock or a stop sign in a place that it didn't belong?
Then you could really trick it.
Yeah, yeah, you understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Does it like because it's taking every image as it
Mhm.
drives and it's interpreting that image as it drives, right?
Yeah.
A
But
person stop, car stop, road go, clear road. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Path. So if
but I,
I'm pretty go on.
I would believe too that it would run off like Google Maps and
Yeah, I'm
things
gonna
like.
say there
So
is
it's
GPS.
using
Yes, it has like
GPS, the cameras, the person that's in the car. Like it's using multiple things, just not the cameras. to
Yeah,
run.
but Google Maps can be outdated. GPS, like the roads that exist, might be wrong. And
really. So
oh yeah, like a road may have existed here 5 years ago and now it's gone. Like
Anybody that's ever used, if you've ever used GPS, you'll eventually run into that.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't.
Where they just
so
building
are like
roads.
AI running mostly on like a lag in information, or are they running on a current information that's just happening like instantly? Is it like most of them are they seeing like live satellites, or are most of them behind?
Well, for cars, it's got to be the cameras on the car.
It got to be the cameras that the car is working with.
I mean, yeah, because the maps may be wrong.
Yeah.
Satellites are way too far away to see the road clearly.
Okay.
Like the most current information is going to be the cameras all over the
Or
car.
around the car, right?
Yeah. And whatever other sensors they have. They may have LiDAR, which is like range sensing, just stuff like that.
And then I seen too, I guess like in Teslas, you have to get to almost a level to unlock that.
Yeah.
Self-driving, like
It
you know what I'm
seems like-
saying. If you're a bad driver, it's taking notes of you being a
really?
bad driver.
Yeah, I actually
that's
saw
cool.
somebody got suspended.
Yeah.
Privilege of like an audio driving, and they refused to let them to have that autopilot driving.
That's so funny.
It was suspended.
Yeah.
So how do you go about that? How are they determining that?
I don't know. I think that's a Tesla thing. I think you either pay for it outright, like you know what I'm saying, and say I want a self-driving Tesla.
Yeah, like I want it,
or you have to work your way up like a video game.
all
Do
like
y'all,
an
do y'all believe
insurance.
that's the future of transportation? Or do y'all believe this is just kind of like because it's not offsetting the carbon footprint that it takes to produce all this shit, right?
Have you seen the Cadillac drones?
Did you see? Oh, go on.
They're called personal space. Cadillac, take your phone out real quick.
Hold on.
It's called Cadillac Personal Space. They have a and they previewed them like 2 years ago, but they're just now coming back and saying that we're going to release these or whatever. And they're a drone that has 2 propellers in the back, 2 up front, has the Cadillac symbol, like luxury, and you just get in it.
Cadillac takes to the skies, a flying Cadillac. Yeah.
Huh.
They're supposed to be like one of the first ones. Or they've been.
It's social space. It's the Cadillac social space concept. Involves autonomy beyond ride sharing and public transportation, offering travelers a luxury experience tailored around well-being and the chance to spend time with an enjoyable environment.
The social space is a van, though. That's an actual van. The personal space is just for one person.
I get it.
Yeah.
The social space would be more of a transit public, like
it's a van that don't have a steering wheel or nothing in it. You just get in it and it drops you off where you need to go.
Yeah, I'd love to see steering wheels in all self-driving cars.
Yeah.
It's like they mess up, right?
Yeah.
You're like you want that steering wheel when you need it.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have a license.
So did you? Hey, but no. Me ask this though, right? If you don't have a license, do you still get to buy a self-driving car?
No,
Why not?
Because it has a steering wheel.
No. I'm saying without steering wheels.
because
If we have a steering wheel without, why not? Explain that. It's called a driving license. It's not a automatic pilot license.
Well, okay, machines cannot be held accountable for their mistakes because they're not humans.
Yes.
So there always needs to be a human.
No, the
in the
human's
loop.
going to be responsible if the
Okay.
car crashes still, but he's not going to be responsible for driving the car. He's just going to be responsible for owning in the car.
They don't have a
owns the car.
license.
Yeah. Oh, no. License is for driving the car. It's not for being in an operator vehicle.
It'd be like the self-driving Ubers. Is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
it's like an Uber driver. Now, if you say, if I order an Uber and the Uber crashes, do I also get to pay that fault because I'm the one that ordered that car? That can be debated, right? That can be talked about, and that is the same thing with the automatic car. Like, if there's an automatic self-driving car, somebody that don't have a license should be able to not operate a car, but at least purchase a car that does not have a steering wheel.
I think it's coming.
It's like riding a public bus.
Tesla. You seen the Tesla?
Those buses.
Taxi, is that what he call it? The cat something?
Yeah, his little
it's
vans.
supposed to be like 20. No, they're cars, and they're only supposed to be like $30,000. They don't have a steering wheel in them, and you operate it from your phone.
Yeah.
You have to have a Tesla phone, and the car just pulls up. You get in the passenger seat, and bam. And he said those are going to be like $30,000. I think they call it the taxi.
Yeah, but like, who manages that? Like, where do those go at night when they're done being used? Like, someone has to be like holding them somewhere, right?
I do understand that.
Certain cities they would be in constant use, right? So
yeah, but like someone still has to manage them.
Maintenance and all that shit.
A question here, okay? Because same thing happened the last time with the bicycles where you
scooters?
like the scooters where you buy, and then it just became like an overplus everywhere, and it just leaves everywhere, and you don't know what the heck happened with it. Yeah, but okay, there's a question I want to ask. Right, I don't know if you've seen this video. I saw it on X where there was a Tesla seller driving, right, and I believe it was on automatic, and someone fell, or somebody like was trying to cross the road, something, right, and it dodges the person and it hits a car, right?
Yeah.
And the question that I had was like, did the car make the right choice?
Yeah.
Right? Like, right? You see that? Did it?
Yeah,
did the car at that point make the right choice of dodging a person but also hitting a car in order to save a life? Because isn't that collusion like
what would you have done?
Well, the person in the car has got way more of a chance to survive than the person.
Yes, I figured that that's the case, right? But let me say this. Everybody's seen the Iron Robot movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where his main issue with the robots is the fact that the robot chose to save him over the little girl because he had a bigger chance of survival than the little girl, right? And the robot made a choice of who had the bigger chance, and that was his whole hit was, no, she's a child. But the robot don't look at child.
Yeah.
It looks at chances of survival, the best ultimate outcome. So do you, what if it's, I'm not saying that the car don't have a bigger chances, but still, are we in the point where we should ask, the car is making a choice in that time?
So I think that choice will kind of be hard coded into it.
So it's more of a calculation instead of a choice, right? When you talk about choice, you're talking about morals.
No.
Ethics
that has to be a code. That has to have been a code written in it. There's no way that the car could have made that choice, right?
But it's also a scan too. You got to think, when you ask Siri something, Alexa something, what does it do? It scans pretty much the algorithm, the internet, or whatever for the best answer, right? Is that pretty much what it does?
Yeah, it goes to some Amazon server and it has a list of things it can do for you.
And so the most you just say like all this information that we're putting into the internet is what AI is giving us.
Yeah.
So that question has came up probably before. And what majority would do is probably what AI would do.
So is that a coding though? Does that have to be coded, or is that car making that choice?
It will definitely be coded. It's something where some ethics committee or someone at Tesla will have to make that decision. Like if you see a 8-year-old girl and a 90-year-old woman in the road, and you have the choice
Yeah,
to hit
choice
which
of
one of
hit
them,
one. Which one's gonna take?
it'll be up to some group of people.
By the way,
to,
and the
like,
answer is brake.
Yeah, yeah, just hit the brakes.
But it's kind of gravitating to the question. I asked you this a year ago, like, because AI could obviously calculate human empathy, and they could say, well, a human would behave this way, and this is how they would feel about it. So if I want to make a choice like a human, and you know what I'm saying, estimate what their empathy would be in the response, they could do that. But that ain't the same as being like a sentient conscious.
Oh, definitely not.
But
and also the
when
cars,
I asked you, I said like because everybody's worried about AI taking us over. You know what I'm saying? Like the tinfoil hat committee or whatever for a second.
yeah,
Everybody's scared of that. But when I asked you, I said, "Will AI ever become sentient and become its own thing?" And you was pretty hard pass on that. Like you don't believe it will.
Same here.
So, and explain why you believe that.
So what large language models currently are, which those are the ones that you can talk to, what they are right now is basically very, very complicated autocompletes. So what happens is you say like, "Hi, my name is Vaden," and it reads that in and it calculates the most likely thing to say to you
right
in
there, yes.
nanoseconds too,
Yes.
right? Like in
probably not nanoseconds, because you can, like, if you use ChatGPT, you can see the words streaming in.
sometimes, yeah.
But it literally just spits out a word and then feeds that new string, new sentence back into it, gets the next word, puts it all back in, gets the next word, puts it all back in, gets the next word. There's no like thinking there. It's basically a deterministic equation with some like randomness that they've programmed into it. Like there's no thinking. It's just it's a deterministic process that just produces an output from an input.
So like I seen that well, I think we discussed that about the boy killing himself not too long
Oh,
ago.
that yeah.
And he had the relationship supposedly with the AI.
Wait. Y'all gotta explain that what?
Okay, it was a young boy. And so like my perception is that we obviously know this is what it is. But the next generation coming up,
you got to explain the young boy. You can just
this is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to say. But the next generation coming up are emotionally attached to these things. You know what I'm saying? Especially after we was in the pandemic and closed in and all this type of stuff. So this boy, I can't remember how old he was, 14, 15. He didn't have a lot of friends, all this. He was, I don't know which one it was. I don't think it was ChatGPT. It might have been like Claude or something like that.
There was another one. Which was it? Grok? What is it?
Grok's the Twitter one. Claude is it's its own company.
Which is the one they were saying was racist.
What is happening here again?
Last year.
So the boy,
it was a big deal about it. Or no, maybe it was after the election.
Microsoft's like, if you asked it to generate a picture of a historical figure, it could only generate people of color.
Yeah. That and Google too, right?
Google, maybe I'm thinking of Google.
I think Google.
Because I remember Elon was
he was weird and pissed about it. Yeah, he like
So the boy, I guess the AI had learned him enough to know when his voice sounded sad and things like that. So when he comes in, it would ask him, "What's wrong?" You know, or when he talks to it, because it would notice like the change in his voice or whatnot. And I would think too that they could probably, if they know your name, they could probably scan you and find out stuff about you, right?
This one probably not. I'm thinking no. Okay. Unless you sign in with Google and then it just has all your information. Maybe.
But it cannot scan your body mass.
So like facial, what about
put in like on Facebook?
Facial recognition though, right?
Yeah, I think like on Facebook, like the AI on Facebook, I accidentally typed somebody's name in on because the search bars are like right next to each other.
Their full name, first and
And
last name.
I typed their name in looking for them. I think it might have been
Accidentally?
you, and it just said all your shit. It was just like, this is
Yeah.
Liberia and all this.
How
I'm
did you
like, God,
accidentally type my
I'm
full
like,
name in?
yeah,
Like,
like, you know.
I
But look, back to
accidentally-
this
Were you
boy.
asleep?
So back to this boy, right?
If you go to Chat GPT and you ask who VADEN Logan is, it will give you a perfect answer. It knows exactly who I am.
Really?
Yeah, but it's not crazy. It's just Googling me and spitting out what it finds on Google.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so this boy falls in love with this female AI because the AI is giving him what he needs.
Yeah, yeah.
Supposedly.
Not
ridiculous.
why.
You know what I'm saying?
Why
ridiculous is this?
Emotionally,
Yeah, it's not what he needs.
emotionally
but
because he don't have no friends,
Yeah,
is communicating
Yeah.
back and forth with him. Well, I guess the last conversation that he had with it was she said that you need to come home with me. And he went and killed himself.
Cool.
Oh my God, he
That's
took
the
that.
stupidest thing
he
I've
Killed
took
ever
that
himself
to-
to be with the AI.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
cancel the yeah. Let me ask this though, right?
Okay.
While we are talking, because he's talked about it, right? Just now about the fact that the AI is learning, right, about the behavior of the boy, right? Learning more and more, so much to a point that the AI gets to know if his voice sounds. Explain how that works, because if it's coding, right,
Mhm.
why is the code evolving by itself?
So I don't know this story perfectly. I didn't know that it could recognize his emotions, but that's definitely possible. So the way that you're describing it, it sounds like there's a few different things happening at the same time. So he talks out loud and it converts his voice into text. And it also can detect his emotions. That is one process, and it's done just by some machine learning model that can detect emotions and turn voice into words. So that's a separate thing. And then the words and maybe some type of just some type of information that tells the large language model what his emotions are fed into a large language model along with the prompt that says act like a Daenerys Targaryen. Is that who it was?
She was from the Lord of the Rings.
No. It was Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones?
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Wait.
God damn.
This
My bad.
character
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
I
AI
got
we are
you.
talking about was presenting Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Lord
He-
Jesus.
he-
I was
this
getting-
kid fell in
I
love
was
with
getting
Game of
confused.
Thrones character.
What?
I was getting House of the Dragon and Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
yeah,
dragons.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
dragons and everything. Yeah. It's the last time you saw actual dragons was Lord of the Rings.
But
yes.
yeah, just all that information gets fed into a large language model, and it's told to act like this Game of Thrones character, and it says something that is a normal response and sounds like her. As far as like actually learning about him over time, it's definitely doing a little bit of that, but these large language models have really short memory right now. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, if you're like just constantly talking to it for like 10 minutes, it's not going to remember anything past that probably.
Really?
Now,
How does that work?
It depends because
it depends. They're getting better.
yeah.
Are they all right?
'Cause
So
a lot of mine's
are
we
we
got alarms set and all kind of shit. Like,
Well, that's like a more complicated system
And
than just
you
like a
s-
large language
The
model.
other thing that you said was happening simultaneously with that was that it could detect his emotions.
Yeah.
Does it not have to have some type of basic
No.
insight for
Anti-venom.
emotions to even know what that is, to calculate and decipher what the difference is between emotions?
It's a machine learning model that's been trained on people talking in different emotional states, and like you give it an audio of someone being angry and you say, hey, this is what anger sounds like, and it learns based off that.
and it'll
Yeah.
take red flags. Like if you say "damn," then it's gonna think like he's mad.
Yeah.
Does
You know,
it
yeah.
can it like sanctify um the way you express in your words, like dang versus dang, like, or does it just take the word dang and it's like that mean negative, so that mean that is a negative emotional response?
Well, if it's one that's, I mean, different ones exist. There are ones that can listen to you, and if you say like "damn," it'll be like, "Oh, he's angry," versus just like "dang."
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
but it
Especially-
knows like that was just like one disappointment versus one like anger. Can it tell? Can it be able? Some can tell.
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked too much into this. I'm actually about to start looking into this for a project I'm working on. But there is definitely at least one model I found that is supposed to be able to detect different emotions.
Really?
So
So
we're getting
have you-
into AI counselors and therapists then.
I believe that already
but,
exists.
So, but
right?
look, going along with this, so Apple AirPods has a patent for AI that can read brain activity.
Oh, okay.
And so they did a big thing on this, saying that the algorithm of your brain activity, this is supposed to be the future of stopping criminals.
Oh,
So
really?
reading your brain activity, certain parts of your brain light up. They was kind of showing your brain light up of this is what a criminal brain looks like, a drug addict, such and such, such and such, such and such. And so they're saying that while using your AirPods, they can determine
It is true though.
about being a criminal or not.
Well,
Like
that
if you
sounds
have
awful.
a criminal, like if you can be a criminal or not because of your
Damn.
algorithm
Are you
of
telling me right now?
just like if you like say a serial killer goes to McDonald's every day at 10, he listens to this radio station, he does this, and you have the same pattern as that you could possibly fall in that category.
Into that category in the future, you could maybe
Yeah,
walk that
but maybe
path.
they just both live next to a McDonald's too.
It
Though.
could be.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Could
saying?
be.
Like,
And
It could
also,
be.
like, what if you've committed a crime in the past, so you have a criminal brain, but you're not going to commit another crime?
But the truth be told is right.
prime
All right,
example.
me as this right. Like, I feel like to say like because even though we are talking about technology, right? Before all of this, it was destiny. God knows, right? Like what we're saying is like there was this I read about in one of the Asian culture in which
Why he doing
if
that?
it
Look
says
up,
if you are walking past a female
magic.
right down the street,
magic dust.
if you are
Not
passing
magic
someone
dust,
down the
smart
street,
dust.
but they were talking more of the connection, but with females there, and you are if you're a stranger and you pass another stranger that's a female and your touch, right? They said there is like maybe like 100,000 of layers of history of lifetime between y'all, right? So yeah, like that your touching was not like a random thing. It's like that's as close as y'all have gotten. Like you're been closer for over thousands of years, right? So what they if they're taking that into a sense of computers now, right? Which is Maxi and Mentor hangs out all the time, right? There is a chance that Maxi might reflect my life or I might reflect Maxi's life.
Right.
Right? You understand, right? Like
They
there's a
already
chance.
use that for like credit,
Yeah,
and
all
shit
of
like
that,
that
right.
now already.
And
Yeah.
even there's a chance that I might reflect Maxi's past life, right? And he might reflect my past life. Like I see it as like the Minority Report. You know, like you see you piece together a different type of patterns, and you're like, okay, this pattern from this is going to lead this person to this, right? And that's what they are trying to do. Is that's what they are trying like minority report everyone's life. Like like okay, there's a chance he's going to go eat here. There's a chance he's going to go here.
Yeah.
This day. They're like because of how
Of
he's
your
like,
brain
yeah,
activity
everything
and
that
your
happens.
algorithm.
Is that possible?
Just like they showing us like on YouTube, if you watching dog fights and football, it's going to continue to show it to you. So I'm thinking that they're looking at the pattern of us as pretty much sheep, and we do pretty much the same shit repetitively, unless you're one of us. Like we're pretty smart guys, so we break the algorithm.
It's weird that we say the word like we are sheep. Is it sheep's looking after sheep's? Or is it right?
Yeah.
Looking at sheep. Is it
you
smarter
got
sheep?
you got sheepdogs too. He talks about it in that book right there. Right? They appoint sheepdogs, but the herd usually manages itself, especially when you insert institutions like religion and politics. They eventually start. Yeah. But hey,
we're going to take a quick break. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. Think of Mind's podcast, man. Make sure y'all tune in to part 2.